Welcome to Housing After 60. I am Charles Odell. On this site, we analyze the math and the reality of senior housing to find your best options. Let's get started.
Welcome to another deep dive from Housing After 60. Today, we are looking at auction versus Realtor based on our latest research at housingafter60.com. All right, here's our roadmap for today's explainer. We'll start with the core dilemma, look at traditional listings, dive into real estate auctions, uncover the hidden math, talk about evaluating the professionals, and then wrap up with an actionable decision framework. Let's get right into it. First up, the core dilemma: speed versus net proceeds. As we noted on the site, deciding to liquidate a large property really comes down to a cold, mathematical trade-off. You're basically standing at a major crossroads here. On one side, you've got the traditional MLS listing. The whole point of this route is maximizing your net proceeds, right? Squeezing every last cent of equity out of your home. But on the flip side, we have the real estate auction. This path is all about speed and absolute certainty. So you're forced to make a tough choice. Do you brave the traditional market to push for top dollar? Or do you bypass all those stressful contingencies for a guaranteed cash conversion on a set calendar date? Moving on to traditional listings, where the goal is maximizing the buyer pool. Let's quickly look at why over 90% of transactions still go down this traditional path. Well, this timeline really shows why that traditional path can be so completely exhausting. We're talking about a sluggish 60 to 90-day life cycle, and honestly, that is best-case scenario. You start with property prep, the painting, the staging, decluttering decades of memories. Then comes market exposure. Get ready for endless weekend open houses. If you finally land an offer, you're thrown into the escrow period. That means home inspections, grueling repair negotiations, title clearing, and all the while, you're still paying carrying costs. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And here is a massive hurdle we really need to talk about: underwriting. Lenders are incredibly strict right now. These automated valuation models, or AVMs, combined with rigid property condition standards, are a real threat to traditional transactions. Imagine this. You have a large, beautiful, custom older home. If it gets a low appraisal, or a buyer's lender suddenly demands a brand new roof before they'll sign off on the loan, boom, you've got severe valuation friction. You'll either have to slash your price or watch the contract collapse entirely and start the whole agonizing process over again. Okay, so what happens when you just don't have 90 days to spare? That brings us to the real estate auction, or accelerated asset liquidation. Let's break down the two main legal structures here, because they are fundamentally different. First, you have the absolute auction. This means the property is legally bound to sell to the highest bona fide bidder, period, no matter the price. Now, this creates extreme buyer urgency, a real frenzy, but it exposes you to some catastrophic downside risk if the marketing fails or nobody shows up. On the other hand, we have the reserve auction. This one includes a confidential minimum threshold to protect you. If the bidding doesn't hit your magic number, you aren't forced to sell. So how do the actual mechanics work? It's highly compressed, usually just a 21 to 30-day window. The home is sold strictly as is with all its faults. Literally zero financing or inspection contingencies are allowed. Plus, a 10% buyer's premium is tacked onto the winning bid. It's actually a fascinating setup. It leverages the psychological power of FOMO, that fear of missing out, through totally transparent competitive bidding. And it cleverly shifts the primary transactional costs straight onto the buyer. Next up, let's talk numbers, the hidden math, and the true cost of waiting. Take a look at this breakdown of carrying costs. When you add up the mortgage, assessed property taxes, specialized vacant home insurance, utilities, and deferred upkeep, you are looking at a monthly burn rate of anywhere from $3,200 to $6,400. That is literally your hard-earned capital evaporating every single month that house sits unsold. Now, if you want the full technical breakdown and the complete data tables for your specific region, definitely check the post on housingafter60.com. And you can see how this quickly snowballs into massive opportunity cost. Think about it. Trapped equity means a $400,000 asset could lose $25,000 in carrying costs over 9 months, just waiting for that perfect buyer. But look at the liquid reality. Selling fast, maybe taking a slight discount at auction, means you can immediately compound that freed up cash at around 5% annually in safe treasury instruments or dividend funds. Over a 10-year horizon, fast capital redeployed into income-generating assets is going to massively outperform a cash-draining physical house. $500,000. This is a bold warning number for married couples. This represents the IRS Code Section 121 capital gains exclusion limit. If you've owned your home for 30 or 40 years in a highly desirable market, your appreciation might easily blow past this number. Waiting too long to sell, especially after the loss of a spouse, or failing to properly document your past home improvements to raise your tax basis, that triggers massive capital gains taxes. You have got to be incredibly careful here. All right, moving to evaluating the professionals to protect your equity, because you really need to step up and act as the CFO of your own property transition. Here's a quick vetting checklist for you. You need to verify an auctioneer's regional success rate, not their out-of-state numbers, but in your specific zip code. Audit their contracts for predatory upfront marketing fees that lock you in whether they perform or not. If you go the traditional route, check your realtor's list-to-sale ratios and absolutely confirm they have a strong network of contractors ready to handle sudden inspection demands. Use this checklist to weed out low-tier auction firms or hobbyist agents who just don't have the chops for complex senior transitions. And please beware the stale listing trap. Some agents will practice what's called buying the listing, basically giving you an inflated, unrealistic price promise just to get your signature on the contract. But overpricing your home just to test the market completely destroys your bargaining position after about 45 days. Buyers just assume the home has hidden flaws, and that forces you into desperate price cuts. There are deeper insights on this psychological trap on the Housing After 60 website, but the main takeaway is simple. Accurate, data-driven initial pricing is absolutely critical. Finally, your actionable decision framework. Let's bring this explainer home with a concrete plan you can use. I want you to walk methodically through these 4 steps. Step 1. Audit your cash reserves. Can you comfortably survive 6 months of carrying costs without touching your core retirement funds? Step 2. Evaluate the age of your home's systems. If your roof and HVAC are on their last legs, traditional buyers are going to demand repairs. That makes an as-is auction look a whole lot more attractive. Step 3. Establish a hard timeline. If you need out in less than 60 days, traditional financing is way too risky. And Step 4. Analyze local market stagnation. Are homes in your neighborhood just sitting unsold? Working through this framework empowers you to choose the safest, most profitable path based purely on data, not guesswork. So I'll leave you with this. Will you let emotional attachment to a family home drain your retirement equity? Or will you let the cold math guide your next transition? Thanks for watching. For more guides and the full article on this topic, head over to housingafter60.com. Don't forget to check the links in the description below.
Your peace and enjoyment in retirement depends on the right housing strategy. Visit housingafter60.com for our full analysis and cost transparency guides. I will see you in the next video.